Hey guys, welcome back to another web development tutorial. And in this tutorial I'm going to be starting a new series in which I talk about CSS and some things which you can do in CSS. So CSS is just the style sheet which you use to style HTML elements and a HTML document, and basically it's like another building block for web. So CSS, HTML and JavaScript are basically the three building blocks of a web. And in this first tutorial I'm just going to be talking about a really popular question, which is literally just how to center a element. So let's just call this center an element. And yeah, so how to center an element is like you'll inevitably end up searching it up somewhere, because you always want to center an element in some place or another. So I'm not actually going to create a CSS file because it's going to be quite short, most of these, so we shouldn't actually need to create a CSS file. We should be able to just use the style tag in HTML and just do it like this. So yeah, anyways, let's go over here and where is it? Central elements. Okay, so I'm sure you know what I mean by central elements, but if you don't, let's just create a div here. Let's give it an ID of parent, then I'm just going to create a reference to this here. Give this a height of 400 pixels, a width of 400 pixels, and let's set its background color to red. Okay, so now we have this square, and let's also create another div, and let's call this let's just call this child. Okay, so now let's create something for this. Let's just copy this, but make it let's make it 300 by 300, and let's just give it cyan. Okay, so we have our two divs here, and let's say we want to center the child div inside of the parent div. So there's actually a few ways you can do this, but I'm going to talk about two which are pretty easy to implement. So the first way is to use the flexbox off method, and to do this all we have to do is go to here, and we just set the parent's display to flex, and then we just set align items to center and justify content to center. And once you've done that, you should see that this div actually goes to the center of this. So this is quite easy, but it might not want to do this if you have a different display type and you don't want to have to change the display type just to center something in the middle. So you also have something like display grid, which is even smaller, so you change it to display grid, and then you can do something like place content or place items in center. Mostly I just do place content, and that actually achieves the same thing. So yeah, those are the two which I mainly use, and if you're centering text, you can also remember that you can just do text line center, and that won't center a div, but then if I go to here and put in some text, you'll see that text is actually centered in the center like that. So yeah, that's useful. And another thing which you can try if the display grid and flexbox things don't work is you can actually try and set the margin to 0 auto, and what that also does is it centers it like horizontally, because basically you're just setting the margin on both sides to 0, and yeah, that's pretty simple, just like that. So those are the three ways actually which I'd recommend to center divs. There's a lot of other ways, like you translate to 50%, 50%, and then back 50%, but those kind of things are a bit like, they're just quite unnecessary in this day and age when you have all these easier options. So yeah, this is just like the easiest few ways which I know to center a div. Comment down below if you have any easier ways, but thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in a future tutorial. Bye.